good evening and good morning. I'm here from India and uh, interesting time. I just wanted to share the interesting update what we have today regarding the. I'm sorry, just have a call here. Yeah. So, well, the big time, 11:30 in 5 minutes from now, Honorable Minister Sean Fraser is going to make a new announcement regarding the new program. So a lot of interesting discussions regarding the new program. What could it be? And so let me just share the screen, and we can follow live the update. From Minister Sean Fraser. So this is the YouTube link. They have it. In about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes from now, we will have the live stream. So guys, if you are new listening to our channel, my name is Gautham Kolluri, and I'm the director of CIB Study Abroad. I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and previously worked in Conestoga College and Mohawk College as the International Students Recruitment Officer. CIP is a virtual platform, but we have a Canadian company with offices in India, Philippines, Brazil, and we also have regional managers in Egypt, Pakistan, shortly coming up in Nepal, hopefully soon in Bangladesh as well. So, well, what could that be? So there's been a lot of discussions, wish it is true, but there was a lot of discussions from students who asked, well, will it be a new, Sandeep is already laughing, will it be a TR to PR program like last year? I don't think it might be, but there's, if you look at last year's discussion, Honorable MP Sarai, when he put up this motion about creating new pathways for international students and temporary workers. So I think that is something which is related to that. And Minister Fraser has always been talking about, developing the rural Canada and set immigration, developing rural part of Canada. So I think this probably would be, there was a lot of discussion also in the internet from my other colleagues. So municipal immigration program, it's basically a new immigration pathway to develop the small regions, pockets of regions, because most of the immigrants who come here, they come to Ontario, especially GTA, Toronto, GTA, Vancouver area. So their efforts, Canada is a huge, as we know, there's so much of swaths of land. So there's a lot of places out there which can be homes for all the new immigrants. So maybe that would be the program. So fingers crossed to TR to PR for international students, or the new immigration program for municipal immigration program for pathways. And also, interesting, like I grew up in Ukraine. I lived there for about 20 years. So there are so many Ukrainians now here to come on a temporary program, right? So it's called Canada Ukraine Authorization for Emergency Travel. So it's a 3-year open work permit program, and these people, they are escaping the war. There's still war continuing. Recently, the government of Canada extended this program. Was the Kuwait program was supposed to expire on the 31st, but it has been extended till the end of July. So there has to be. It's not a refugee program. It was only a temporary 3-year open work permit program. So there has to be a pathway, because many Ukrainians, hardworking people, but unfortunately, there are some rural people. English language is a challenge, so there might actually be some interesting program to support the Ukrainians. But I think probably, this probably might be a new pathway to develop rural immigration. So I think probably municipalities, smaller regions, as we call, probably that would be this. So, well, this is, let me just refresh it and see, maybe, okay, not yet. It is already 11:30.
Still not it.
Yes, yeah. So guys, let me just see if I can make the screen big. I don't see for some reason.
Center one. I guess after. Can you click on the center once?
Yeah, I'm actually on this. Yeah, the mouse is there. Okay, so well, interesting. So let's see what the immigration minister has to say. It's already 11:30, and I think everybody is getting nervous what this would be. Well, I hope, many of our CIP students probably anxiously waiting. In fact, CIP team members, we have some of the TIP members who are also waiting for some opportunities, some quick opportunities to get the PR. So hopefully this might be, one of the options. So let's see how it works out. So meanwhile, for all the people who are joining in, so we have, a Zoom Facebook group. Okay, I've logged in from another browser. So guys, if you are new to our network, please join our Facebook group. We have about 53.2 members here, and increasing. We also have many WhatsApp groups, and we'll take it forward from there. So looking forward to the announcement, and hopefully we can get something new, some good program for all the international students. I think it is. I was actually surprised at the recent draws. To be honest, I expected that they would be actually CEC draws, more CEC draws, because there are so many international students who have invested their time, money, to get the Canadian education. They have worked here, they have gained Canadian work experience, and I was hoping that many, but the recent draws would be CEC draws, but very surprising, interesting strategy from IFCC. Like there are already so many international students here, and who are waiting, who studied, graduated. So I hope they will be focused in the next coming months, specific CEC, specific draws to support international students who are here, in Canada. Hope things will work out for us. So I'm still hoping and seeing. So meanwhile, a couple of updates. Fanshawe College has recently opened for January intake. Fanshawe is located in London. Let me just open the programs in Fanshawe College, and then we can discuss, while we wait for Mr. Rcic to update. Yeah, so this is a Facebook group, guys. This is, if you are new, you can join in, and I think many of you. So Toronto campus, interestingly, a couple of days ago, Fanshawe College actually updated. This is a new update. So they have an international campus in partnership with public-private partnership with Lilac College, which is one of the popular colleges, language course. So if you look here, Fanshawe College recently started 2 new programs, and one of the programs is very interestingly, regulatory affairs, which is not sure why they have not updated here, but let me see if they have put it here. Yeah, they have actually not updated, but there's a 2-year regulatory affairs program. So the Toronto campus, which is the ILAC campus, which is located in the premises of ILAC College, it's one of the best language schools. They have the following programs. Interestingly, career development practitioner. This is something which I have not seen. Sandeep, did you notice this? Career development practitioner program, which is interesting. Okay, and it's a graduate certificate. Mental health. This is also a graduate certificate program. Interesting. So Fanshawe Regulatory Affairs, only 3 colleges in Canada have the regulatory affairs program, which is a very good option for students who are from pharmacy background. It is a 2-year program, and this program is being offered in the Toronto campus. Let me just, there's a specific page for international students here. So postgraduate certificate programs, and we can see these are all the postgraduate programs, and we can see regulatory affairs. It's the only college which is actually offering the 2-year program is Fanshawe College. Algonquin College in Ottawa has this program, but it is only a 1-year, 2-semester program. And Conestoga College also has the regulatory affairs program, and it is a 2-semester program as well. So good program. And so if you are from pharmacy background, this is an excellent program. Northeastern University also has a master's in regulatory affairs, which is almost about 50,000. Very competitive out there. We've had Nihilji from our team, and we've had many other students who are studying there. So let's see this. There's some update. So today there's a survey which Sandeep has just shared me, launching survey on the future of Canada's immigration system. Yeah, so interesting. I'll share this link as well. So I think if we see, it's basically the government of Canada has launched an engagement initiative called An Immigration System for Canada's Future, engaging a broad range of partners and stakeholders with diverse perspectives will help inform a vision on how our immigration system can strengthen communities across the country. The initiative will also include a review of the current policies and programs, and the survey will run from March 27 to April 27. So anybody who would like to give a feedback or your thoughts, there is a survey out here. And usually you see this, last time I think there was also a survey, and there were so many colleagues who were not happy about this, right? It is like 27, and today, it is. Thankfully it was updated. So last time there was a survey which was not really published, to get the feedback of the stakeholders. But thankfully this time there's an early update for all the stakeholders to complete the survey. So meanwhile, I still don't see any update from Minister Fraser here. We are still waiting. Let me just update and see if there's anything here. Nothing as such, still waiting. So I think everybody's so stressed and waiting. I still remember the day when we had this TR to PR program, and
something big is coming. Something big is coming.
Something big is coming. Yes, it was very difficult, and for all our team members, thanks Sandeep was there, and all our team member Nihilji was there, and it was big. I think it was my longest Zoom session, right, Sandeep? We had we had I think 16 hours, 16 or 18 hours of Zoom. 18 hours the day Express Entry, the TR to PR program opened, and before that, just before the day, the instructions, IRCC published the instructions, and we didn't really have time for all that. And we had students, we had different, I was in Zoom, Sandeepji and Nihilji was in Google Meet, and we were talking to hundreds of students. And I think we probably had almost about 500 students go through us in the 2 days for the TR to PR program. And thankfully, everybody till now, I don't think, Sandeep, we didn't really see any refusals, right? Not a single refusal for all the people who have been through.
Not really.
Not really, right? Yeah, so everybody has received. I think there's still more pending. I think Premjot, one of our students, is still waiting, hopefully, but let's try. So yeah, Nisha. So I
నిషా కాదండి భాను యాక్చువల్గా అది నా రూమ్మేట్ యాక్చువల్గా
sure, Banu.
ఎలా ఉన్నారు?
I'm good, Banu. Yes, please. How are you?
జస్ట్ బాగున్నాను. అదే ఎట్లా ఉన్నారు ఏంటి అని కనుక్కున్నాను అంతే. జస్ట్ వెయిటింగ్ ఫర్ ద అప్డేట్స్. జాయిన్ ఫర్ ద అప్డేట్స్.
Sure, I'm still waiting for it. Fingers crossed. I hope it's going to be some good news. So Sandeep, do let us know if it is here. So we have Walid Mirza here. Walid?
Hi.
Hello, Walid.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. No, I was also, waiting for the update.
You're
for
also
the new
waiting.
Yeah.
Good, we're all. So let's hope.
Yeah.
It will be some news.
Yeah. I also next week I'm I'll be completing my postgrad studies. So I'm also planning to apply for the PR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So where are you studying, Walid?
Loyalist College.
You're in Loyalist College.
Okay. Yeah.
That's nice. Let's see what Minister Fraser has for us. So guys, meanwhile, Conestoga has not yet opened for January intake. Many good programs. You'll be surprised, Conestoga College, every semester there are new programs coming in. Like I'm really out of words sometimes when we see the programs and we see some new programs every time. So if you look at the PG programs, they are now 90 programs. So if you go on to this international page here and go to this credentials and choose Ontario College Graduate Certificate Program, just look at this, 90 programs for international students. No college in Canada has 90 programs, postgraduate programs. So they recently came up with, I think, advanced CNC manufacturing, great program for students who are from mechanical background. And I think there's also, that was a good program which come in, and computer animation using graphics, cyber security response planning, very interesting program. As you know, Waterloo and Toronto is, they are referred as the technology corridor of Canada, and many IT programs, digital solutions, it's an old program. Previously, last year it was started, and very interesting for civil students as well. No other college has so many programs. Advanced building systems, also a good opportunity for students who are from civil background. And here, environmental building science, environmental engineering, 3 programs, and also there's structural engineering 2-year program, which is only offered in January intake, and the construction management. So 5 civil programs, which is Conestoga offering. So great programs. Conestoga has programs for IT. I think there are about 20 programs for IT, 5 programs for civil, and many business programs, and also and obviously mechanical programs and health and social systems navigation. Sandeep and Shivani, did you see this program, health and social systems navigation?
Sure.
Yeah, health and social systems navigation. This is a new program in Conestoga. I'm not really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Sandeep, can I make you host for some time and we can just go through this? Okay. Yeah. So, well, guys, still waiting. Let's see how it. Sandeep, I'll just put it and let's wait and see what Minister Fraser. Can you see the screen, Sandeep?
Yes, yes, I can.
Yeah, okay. I'll just leave it and let's hope that. Uh, I'm flying tomorrow to Dubai. I have my tailor here with my suit. So just apologies. I just need to talk to him. So meanwhile, I'll have Sandeep and my team here, and we'll wait for Minister Freezer to come up with the announcement.
Guess they updated in the website. Just sharing the link, Anna. Can you let me?
Yeah, you are the host, so I can. Sandeep, you're sharing this.
I can, yeah, just now we received the update right now that tackling the labor shortage by helping more skilled refugees and other displaced people build their careers in Canada.
Okay,
This is what the update
misplaced.
is now.
Okay, that's interesting because, well, we know when you're talking about people from misplaced people, it's basically Sandeep, you're sharing the screen. Can you stop sharing the screen?
Okay, cool.
Yeah. That
You are on.
says here is interesting update here. Uh, did you send the link, Sandeep? I don't see. I only see this link, which was the Canada's immigration.
In Canada team.
Okay, okay, you posted in another group. Yeah, I see it here. So this is a new one. Let me share it in the group here for the other guys who just joined. So tackling the labor shortage by helping more skilled refugees and other displaced people build their careers in Canada. Interesting. I think this might be something to do with the Ukrainians. So yeah, let me just share this link here so that you guys can read it. Yeah. I'll just share it to the page and hope Minister Fraser will come here soon to make the announcement. I've just updated. Yeah, nothing as of now. So fingers crossed. You can share some information meanwhile if you want, if there's anything you want to talk about. Okay. I'll be back in about 10-15 minutes.
So always a pleasure to be with you here at the Empire Club. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. One of the most important issues that we've been facing as an organization is immigration and the shortage. But imagine with all the work that we have right across the country, especially in the construction sector, my friends here, industry. Today, I could put 25,000 people to work only in Ontario alone. That's the kind of numbers that we're looking at. Commercial litigation and international. He was elected
vessel that brought my ancestors ashore still play the bagpipes here 250 years later. The reality is, if you visit any community, any region in Canada, you're going to find the story of diaspora communities that have come to define the Canada that we are today. And we're so much stronger for it. The opportunities to connect people to people, to foster cultures of investment, to embrace tourism, to work within industries, to bring workers, including in construction, allow us certain strengths that much of the world does not enjoy. And I think with the success that we've experienced on the back of immigration for more than 150 years now, I think we also share a moral obligation to continue to make good on our reputation to welcome some of the world's most vulnerable. You know, from my perspective, although some of the challenges day to day can seem complicated, economy in the world. The reality is we are now dealing with virtually the lowest rate of unemployment that we've ever seen. We've got GDP well in excess of pre-pandemic levels, and we've actually seen about 830,000 jobs created since before the pandemic. This is extraordinary. The rate at which we are experiencing economic growth, and sometimes in surprising ways, as the entire world is competing for the same pool of global talent, communicates to me that we have an opportunity to embrace Canadians' welcoming nature, to capitalize on the economic opportunity of our generation. And that's to bring these skills into our country that we so desperately need at a time when many other economies would like to welcome those same people, but don't necessarily have the capacity or the political opportunity to do so. It's not just an economic problem that we're dealing with. Le Canada a également besoin de plus de personnes pour soutenir notre collectivité et notre profil démographique. Il y a 50 ans, nous comptions environ 7 travailleurs pour chaque personne retraitée. Ce ratio est chute de près de 3 pour 1 et l'on prévoit qu'il continuera de diminuer. The reality is, across Canada, we may only have 3 workers for every retiree. In my region, we're down to about 2.1 to be more specific. And these demographic trends manifest themselves in extremely concerning ways. Look, if there was an alarm I could pull on one issue with Canada's demographic trajectory right now, the reality is if we don't bring more families and working age people into this country, the economic conversations we're going to be having a generation from now won't be about labor shortages. It's going to be about whether we support public services, schools, hospitals, and roads that we depend upon, and too often take for granted.
You can share screen, guys. You can share screen.
The sort of a sense of alarmism. I speak from personal experience. I'll tell you, when I was first running for office, some of the biggest challenges in the community were the closure of a local elementary school and the loss of the mental health unit at the largest regional hospital in northern Nova Scotia. The reason
Someone is doing spam here.
Services had to do with the out-migration of people. In the case of the school, young families from Atlantic Canada.
Anna, can you stop reading your blog? Gautham, sir.
As our fertility rate.
I think we are getting Zoom bomb, guys. I think we're getting Zoom bomb.
Aberdeen Hospital. And once I died, one thing that we had before, remember, we couldn't operate that safely. And as we closed down, we're still not the same level of private mental health services that were available in my community before. Since that time, around 2015, our communities embraced immigration as a strategy to not just solve our economic challenges, but to combat some of these demographic and social challenges. Now, although there's very real challenges, the biggest problems that I have are whether we can build enough houses to welcome all the people who want to move to my community instead of losing schools and hospitals. Because
I mute myself.
now
I'm locking the meeting right now.
growth any day of the week, but we still have to adopt smart immigration policy.
Don't admit anyone, please. Hello.
And before I get into some of the solutions, I want to touch on a third aspect of the need to continue to embrace immigration. And that's a
Now, can you screen share or no?
I think we have to do right by the world.
Yes, please.
You know, over the course of the past few years during the pandemic, Canada was a bright spot in the world when it came to refugee resettlement. In 2020 and 2021 in particular, Canada was responsible for the resettlement of more people than any other country in the world. In fact, during those 2 years, each of those 2 years, Canada resettled more than 1/3 of the total number of people who were resettled permanently as refugees globally. This is extraordinary. It's a source of national pride when I meet with people in communities and volunteers in particular who've had a hand in fostering a successful integration and resettlement of people. There's a unique opportunity that we have in Canada that I do not think exists anywhere else in the world until we show it to them. And that's to recognize that the people that we're providing a second lease on life to for humanitarian reasons, we can demonstrate to the world that they come up with an awful lot more than the contents of their suitcase. I can tell you the people who come into my community, they are working in essential jobs. They are making an extraordinary contribution. There's many people in this room may well have heard as the now globally famous success story of Peace by Chocolate. The Haddad family who came from Damascus after losing their chocolate factory, moved to the small town of Antigonish by complete chance. And they could not have found a more welcoming community who helped build a little shed in the backyard of the home that was provided to them, in part to provide a therapeutic opportunity for their father, Asmodine, to continue to make chocolate, to get back at what he was good at, back what he knew before. The reality is when he showed up at the farmer's market, he couldn't produce chocolate quickly enough to satisfy the demands of the community. You know, they ran into some xenophobia in my community as well. There was at least one gentleman who approached my now friend, Tarek Haddad, the CEO of the company, to say, I'm sorry you lost everything, but why did you have to come and take a job for me in my community? It was the first person he hired on the floor of the factory when they opened up. They got about 50 people working in a small town in Nova Scotia right now that wouldn't have jobs if it weren't for their story playing out in the local community. Just a couple of days ago, our parliamentary colleague, Elizabeth May, a proud Nova Scotian as well, gave one of their chocolate bars to the sitting president of the United States of America. This is a story that I don't think could happen in any other country in the world. And it didn't happen just because the government embraced Syrian refugees in 2015. It happened because the family felt supported by a community who welcomed them. It happened because Canadians bought into the success of the story and the possibility that a refugee family can start a business that's employing dozens of Canadians. The reality is, I don't think it's true that this could not happen anywhere. I don't just think it's true that this could not happen in any other country in the world. When we decided to launch an initiative initially to resell 25,000 people, I think it was inevitable that we would have many of these stories. And though the Haddads continue to get a lot of the spotlight because of the power behind their story of pursuing peace through chocolate, every time I visit a family of newcomers, there's an extraordinary backstory to what they're doing and how they're successful they've become in Canada. I can tell you from personal experience, if you come to my own community, you're going to find the Maple Cedar restaurant. You're going to find the Syrian Canadian restaurant. In fact, the Kassim family who runs the restaurant on the Pictou waterfront has a 12-year-old son. He's probably about 14 now. Now, when this story happened, he was 12, who decided he wanted to help learn through his parents' business how to run a business himself. He opened a lemonade stand next to his parents' spot on the waterfront. He wanted to save up for a Nintendo Switch. His mother told him about a young boy in Syria that the family knew who had throat cancer, who wasn't able to pay for it himself. Omar dedicated his summer to raising money so he could buy or cover the cost of the throat surgery for that young boy. I shared this story on Facebook, by the way. Like 18 people offered to buy him a Nintendo Switch right away. But the reality is when we welcome people to communities and we do what we can to support them and integrate them into our communities, they tend to give back like I could never have thought was possible. Now, it's really important that we come to understand that that's an inevitable consequence when we welcome people who have these skills that are necessary to support our economy. That's why the government created a couple of years ago a unique program, the first of its kind, the Economic Mobility Pathways Pilot, or EMPP to those who may be familiar in the room. This is an innovative program that doesn't seek to maximize the economic opportunity for refugees by chance, but by choice. It's a program that is at its core economic in nature, but whose participants are required to be displaced persons. Les projets pilotes sur les voies d'accès à la mobilité économique fonctionnent en parallèle avec nos autres volets d'immigration économique pour pouvoir des postes essentiels dans des domaines comme les soins de santé, les technologies et l'école. Nous avons vu un certain nombre de réussites jusque présentes et nous continuons à travailler avec nos organisations partenaires, les provinces, les territoires, les communautés, les employeurs et les leaders sectoriels pour étendre le projet pilote. You know, this program is extremely important. And I like to draw on examples from my own community because these are not about data points that we keep at IRCC. It's about real people and real communities. We've benefited from this program at Glenhaven Manor, a long-term care facility that for too long had parents aging community when their families had moved away to other parts of the country or overseas. Glenhaven Manor was having, like so many other employers in the health sector, difficulty finding staff. They embraced this opportunity, and I should give credit to the province of Nova Scotia as well, who's really dug in to make the most of this particular pilot program. And they started welcoming large numbers of care providers who had the skills that were necessary to come and provide care to elderly people who live in my community. The result has been that grandparents who previously had to go to Halifax to receive the care they needed are receiving care in the community where their grandkids are being raised. They get to still know them because they're able to get the care they need in their own community. Moreover, since we've embraced immigration as a region, we've seen people move back home who initially moved away because with all the people moving into the community, opening businesses and different types of businesses than we were accustomed to, my community is a more vibrant and dynamic place to call home. And there's more young families than there were before. In fact, I don't know if Bahati is here. I thought she was going to be. One of the participants in this program has actually started a family of her own in our community. And now her sister, who was previously in Toronto, moved to rural Nova Scotia just to continue to be close to their family. In our ongoing effort to scale this program up and to respond to the needs of employers, I'm so pleased to announce that this new program, the Economic Mobility Program, will have a standalone federal pathway as soon as this summer. This program will avoid the need for employers to tap into the provincial nominee program, whose precious spaces are hard to come by, or through the Atlantic Immigration Program in my neck of the woods. Cette nouvelle voie d'accès élargira l'accès à davantage d'employeurs dans une vaste gamme de secteurs et d'industries partout au pays, afin de les aider à combler des pénuries de main-d'œuvre. The expanded options mean that this summer, employers are going to be able to hire refugees and other qualified displaced people under any job category. This is going to help Canadian businesses, our healthcare sector in particular, and others recover by bringing in the skills we need in in-demand jobs. We know that Canada needs nurses, aides, personal support workers, long-term care aides, software engineers, teachers, construction workers, and everywhere else across the economy. Nous nous appuyons également sur ce que nous avons appris. Les nouvelles voies rendent le processus de demande plus facile et plus rapide pour les employeurs, grâce à des critères normalisés à l'exigence pour les candidats de présenter seulement en demande. In most cases, we hope to be able to process people through start to finish in about 6 months. And this is going to help improve the existing program, which will still maintain those other parallel pathways. The reality is, I think we need to inspire ourselves to think bigger. I don't think we have to take it as a given that we live in a world where refugee camps are something we accept as normal, where hundreds of thousands of people move out of necessity to flee violence, war, or persecution to a place where they are denied the most civil, social, and political rights that we all take for granted. There's 100 million displaced people in this world. We had almost 1 million jobs available in this country this past summer. And there's 100 million people who have skills to offer that currently have no chance. I've met people who are third-generation members of families that have been living in refugee camp. There's one family who came to one of my communities in rural Nova Scotia. When they brought their children to the house, they were astounded. And when the community members who volunteered to bring them there asked what they were so surprised by, they said, we'd never seen stairs before at the entry to their home. These kids are growing up in the community. The parents are both working in the community, making a difference. And in the long term, they're going to help us overcome some of our most problematic demographic trends, the consequences of which I outlined previously. The reality is, if we do the right thing, we're able to also serve our self-interest. You know, at the law firm where I started my career, one of the senior partners came in and said, I'm going to teach negotiation. People are interested in doing the right thing unless it's easier for them to do something else. You can trust a person's self-interest every bit as much as you can trust their sense of altruism. If we develop a program that allows people to do the right thing, that also meets an essential need, there's no limit on what we can achieve. Canada serves this year as the global chair of the UN's Task Force on Labor Mobility. By demonstrating that we are putting our faith in this project, by establishing a new standalone federal pathway, my hope is we can share this lesson with other countries in the world who can help chip away so that in the future we don't have to accept there's 100 million people who don't have a safe place to call home. Folks, this is the kind of innovative thinking that's going to help us change the world in the future. I'm thrilled to be able to help lead this initiative on behalf of the Government of Canada, because I don't think there's any other place where this is possible. I've met people who are working in long-term care like Bahati. I met a gentleman named Daniel in Toronto who's working for a major Canadian tech business. I've met a nurse named Dilruba who's working in Newfoundland. And when I asked her what her experience was like, she said, it's nice because I never had a home before. And now I'm not a refugee, I'm a Newfoundlander, and the community treats me that way. I'm telling you folks, there's no greater reward in the world than seeing the policies have an impact on the real people who come to live in our communities and make a meaningful impact. I want to say thank you to all the players in the room who I know have been working on the EMPP initiative, the referral partners in particular who are going to help us identify displaced talent that are going to serve the needs of the Canadian business community and allow us to uphold our proud tradition of continuing to welcome the world's most vulnerable with open arms. It's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'm very much looking forward to the conversation. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
Very much. That's 1, 2, 3. Are the lights going? Welcome. Yeah, I think so. And it took me about 5 years to figure out that path. So, yeah. Well, thank you, Minister, for joining us today. And I'll start off with a broad question. I know we were involved in a major engagement initiative under this banner, an immigration system for Canada's future. Can you kind of elaborate on some of the aims, who you're engaging, and what matters to all of us here today? Whether we're in business, a civil society, or a civil society organization or NGO.
Yeah, so the initiative you're referring to is the Strategic Immigration Review. In the last federal budget, we were pointed to reassess the nature of Canada's immigration system to determine what kind of a system we need, not just to meet the needs of the economy this year, but to set ourselves on a path that's sustainable and directed towards long-term thinking. Essentially, what kind of reforms do we need to make today that are going to serve the long-term interests of Canada? And it looks like a funny story. On my way in to the minister's regional office for a meeting before this, there was a woman standing at the elevator who said, "Are you here for the IRCC event?" And I didn't know there was an IRCC event, by the way. And I'm like, well, I could be. I thought it was a different meeting, actually. And she started going through, and she's like, "Okay, well, what's your name?" I told her my name. She said, "What's organization?" I said, "IRCC." And she said, "What's your position?" And when I told her what my job was, she was so embarrassed. It was terrible. So we were hosting an event I didn't know about a couple floors down from the meeting I actually had. But what I'm hoping to gain from this review is to really get feedback from the people who use the system rather than the people who administer the system, to figure out how it can be directed towards solving our long-term needs. I know there's a lot of talk about the labor gap that we're experiencing now, which is extremely serious. It's going to get worse, by the way, when I look at the demographic trend that we're on, particularly in healthcare and home building. And we made some changes to policies that will help address some of those challenges that I'm hoping will bear fruit in the second half of this year. But the long-term planning that I'm hoping to glean from this exercise is to figure out what communities need to envision themselves as a much larger version of themselves than exists today. If we're going to be talking about, Canada will double its population at some point, whether it's in 25, 40, or 70 years, depends on decisions that Canadians will make and the future governments will make. But it is going to happen. And we should start thinking now about what decisions we have to make to deal with the social pressures larger populations create. So where my head is at on this review is to figure out not just what immigration processing challenges do we need to overcome, but where do the water pipes go in a community that's currently got 15,000 people that needs to build for 50? Where do the ball fields go? What housing policies do we need to adopt? What target countries can we work with to foster a culture of labor mobility that will allow us to meet the needs of the economy? So if you've got feedback, IRCC is in the midst of its strategic immigration review. I invite all of you to participate. My hope is that we'll wrap this thing up by May to understand what the conclusions will be that foster a culture of continued population growth in a way that will maximize economic growth and social progress at the same time.
Excellent, thank you. And you kind of touched on this, as a tool among other things, this EMPP, the Economic Mobilities Pathway Pilot. How important are these tools? And if we think of the labor shortage at the end of the day, and
today and in the long term? Look, they're essential. And I don't want to overstate things, but you don't need to pour over the Stats Canada labor force survey every month to understand that there is a shortage of talent in this country. Walk down Main Street of any community in Canada, there's going to be help wanted signs in the window, whether you're dealing with a software engineering company or a pizza shop. Everybody needs workers. I think we've got a unique moment in time to try new things to bring more people into the market. By the way, it's not just an immigration assault. We need to be training people like we have never trained them before. We need to be bringing marginalized groups into the economy by creating supports for Canadians living with disabilities. We need to be adopting policies like our child care strategy. As much as that was a cost-saving measure, it's a huge economic policy, and the rate of women's participation in the workforce has gone through the roof since those changes were made that made it more affordable for families to have both parents working where possible. So we got to pull every lever that we have. But even as we pull every lever, record low unemployment, almost 1 million jobs available in the Canadian economy. We need to find a workforce that's outside of the country. A lot of employers don't realize that displaced people have talent. We treat them as somebody that needs help, not somebody who can help. And that's not the right, both things can be true at the same time. What I'm finding with the people who've taken part in this program, it's been a godsend for the employers who've taken part, because they're not just getting somebody who's filling in labor for a few months. They're getting people who are adopting a new career with their new business. There's a sense of loyalty like I've never seen, where people say their employer didn't just bring them here and gave them a job. They helped them find a home. They helped get their kids signed up to go to school. They get to live in Canada compared to a different.
So guys, that was the announcement today, and I was hoping that we would have a new pathway. I was hoping that there would be something new for international students, but I guess as always, we have some surprises from IRCC. So basically this was, just before the meeting, we went through this update. This is basically the update what Minister Fraser was talking about. I will share it in the link. So this is basically what it is all about. So tackling the labor shortage by helping more skilled refugees and other displaced people build their careers in Canada. So just to skip on the entire route here. So basically the Government of Canada, if you see here, so basically if we look at this part here, during the speech, Minister Fraser announced that Canada will launch a new immigration pathway, economic pathway, under the Economic Mobility Pathways pilot to help employers hire refugees and other displaced individuals. The Economic Mobility Pathways pilot skilled refugees and other displaced individuals with Canadian employers who need to overcome labor shortages in key occupations. So this allows Canada to welcome vulnerable people and access to the untapped talent pool. The Government of Canada is expanding the EMPP by creating a new federal pathway. The new pathway, which will complement existing EMPP pathways, will open this summer. So this new pathway will open this summer. So basically, again, it was it was more towards the refugees and not the international students. So hopefully we will have more updates. IRCC is full of surprises. So fingers crossed. As we always say, there's always hope. So let's focus on. And all the people who are working towards the PR, please make sure that you work on your English skills. Sandeep, Shivani, and all the people in our CIP team, and also in all our CIP students, guys, please focus on your English. This is the key. You still have great opportunity here. And yeah, well, guys, sorry, there were some spammers in between. I just stepped out for a minute, and I had some spammers, but I guess there's silly people who don't have anything else to do in their life. So let's keep focused, and well, wishing you all good luck, and keeping our hopes focused, and can guys be focused. So I'll stop this live stream, and we'll stay connected. We have for the new people here, my name is Gautham Kolluri, and I'm a related Canadian immigration consultant and founder director of CIP Study Abroad. Well, I'm here now in India, but today is my last day. Tomorrow I'm flying to Dubai. Tomorrow night I'll be there for about about 5 days, and 4th of April I'll be back home in Toronto and continue my normal sessions every day from 9 a.m. Toronto time till 12 p.m. I'll be in the Zoom Monday to Friday. So thank you guys. Have a good night and have a wonderful day for all our people in Canada. So take care. Goodbye.